Alrighty, folks, welcome to What It Takes, a mini-series where I ask the same questions to elite coaches, and they talk about what it takes to become an elite coach. I'm your host, Kevin Shaw, and today we are talking with 7-star diamond and 2-time elite coach, Yelaney, Bayen. Megan, welcome to What It Takes.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Megan, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Megan, and I am from Long Island, New York, originally. I am 29 years old, almost 30, which is terrifying and exciting at the same time. I just got married a couple months ago, and my husband and I are right now, we're making this, on a cross-country adventure for about 6 months total. We're about halfway through it, and we decided just to pick up and travel because of this business, and he works from home, so it's been a whirlwind. I'm also an actor and a singer, and I've been a full-time coach for about 2 years, and I've been in the business total of about 4.5. So it's been a whirlwind, and it's been great. I love it.
Great job. So glad that you guys are traveling the U.S. People with kids are jealous. Okay, here we go. On to the questions. Megan, question number 1. How were you introduced to Beachbody?
So I was introduced to Beachbody right after I graduated college in 2009. I did P90X. I saw it on the infomercial a million times when I was at the gym, not getting results and frustrated. So I finally decided to do it. Might have not been the legal way, but I did it for 90 days. And I remember crying the first workout because I couldn't do a push-up, and it was very hard, and I almost quit. But I sucked it up, and I ended up having amazing results with that in 30 days, actually. That's when I really started to get people coming to me asking me what I was doing. And for a year, I didn't know coaching existed. So I actually sent tons of people to the website to get it legally. And a lot of them ended up signing up and getting great results. But I didn't know coaching existed. So I was coaching them without actually, benefiting from it, which was fine because I loved doing it. So it was kind of a natural thing for me. I saw a girl from my high school, a friend, post about something with a group, and I messaged her and I asked her about it, and it was a challenge group, and I basically was one of those like dream signups. I said, wait, I already do this, but I'm not getting paid for this. You get paid for this? And she signed me up pretty much on the spot. So she was very happy with how that went. And basically that's kind of how it happened. The first 2 years, I wasn't a very plugged in, consistent coach, and I kind of kicked myself now for that. But I know that's like a question later, I think, so I'll save that for it. But the last 2 years, I've been full in, 100%, treating it like a business, and it has returned to me for that. So I'm very, very grateful for it.
Very cool. All the way from a gym to giving other coaches commission to finally making your own dollar with Beachbody. That is awesome. Okay, so you talked a little bit about this. But Megan, describe what those early days look like. Now that you're a coach, describe what those early days look like.
So my first, I'd say, year and a half of coaching, I was very much a hobby coach. I actually did hit Success Club my first month, but only because I needed to make the money back, because I borrowed money from my mom to pay for my challenge pack. I was an actor in LA making no money. So I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. And she said, sure, but you need to pay me back the next month. And so I did. I signed 3 people up. I think just my enthusiasm and excitement. And I think I naturally was good at talking to people, but I just stopped being consistent. After that first month, I was like, okay, I got my money back, yay. And I guess I thought it'd be easy. And when all of a sudden I realized you actually had to work, I was a little lazy. I'm not gonna lie, my priorities were elsewhere. And I think I was just kind of getting my bearings with everything. So for the first year and a half, I was up and down, randomly would hit Success Club, randomly wouldn't. And my income showed that. Occasionally I would have a nice commission check, but most of the weeks, no. And it was like a year and a half in when I had a day in the job I was doing at the time, which is background work on film and television. It was like 15 degrees in New York. It was absolutely freezing, and I was outside working, and I hated it. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm getting frostbite. I have a college degree. I have this gold mine of coaching sitting at my fingertips, and I'm not doing anything. And it kind of was like I hit that rock bottom with my own personal career, and I just couldn't stand what I was doing. And I finally decided, this is it. I'm not going to be doing this next year. And that January, I dove in and I hit diamond that month. And then slowly but surely, by the end of the year, I think I was 2-star. And then by the end of the a couple months later after that, I was 5-star. I got 5-star at Summit that following year. So it's one of those things, once you finally decide that you're going to stop going up and down and being inconsistent and start being consistent, it starts happening. I have a lot of coaches come to me saying, but I've been consistent. I say, for how long? And they're like, well, like 3 weeks. I'm like, come back to me in 3 months. If you're consistent for 3 months, then you can tell me if certain things aren't working or are, and you're going to find that they are. So it was all about being consistent, but I was definitely not a out of the back coach. The first year and a half, very wavering. So I like to tell people that, because I think a lot of people hear these success stories of coaches who hit all these big accolades their first 2 years. And I definitely was not that coach. So doing it a little later, but it definitely.
What a great story. You know what I love about that is, like you said, it was rock bottom as far as making a commitment. You have to just decide to commit. It's the distinction between being interested and being committed. Interested, you do it when it's convenient. When you're committed, you do it because you have to. And you made that decision. Great story.
100%.
All right. So what do you feel are some attributes or habits you have that contribute to your success?
So some habits that I think I have, and I don't know if it could be considered a habit, but the consistency factor, even if I am sick, even if I am, top coaches and elite coaches, we have days where we don't feel like doing anything, where we get into a weird funk. Life happens to us too. And we still hit Success Club. We still show up every day. And that's the hardest part, I think, is like you just kind of said, is going from being interested to deciding this is your job. If you're sick, you can't necessarily call out of work. So you have to kind of say, can you call out of your own job when you're your own boss? So for me, my biggest, I think, attribute or biggest habit for me has been just the consistency, and especially my morning routine. That's really the number one thing for me that I think sets my day up, is my morning routine and having such a schedule in the morning. I like to get my work done as early as possible. So basically my morning routine just consists of I wake up, I do my personal development and my journaling right in the morning. I get my mindset straight, because if I look at messages, if I look at my team page, if I look at my email and I see all these complaints or coach cancellations or this or that, my whole day is just kind of not started great. And so I really make a point to not look at my phone or anything. And this took me a while to learn until I do my personal development. And then I do my workout, because all those endorphins and everything, for me personally, that just starts it off right. And then I go and I look at my messages. So my morning routine definitely has been one of the best attributes, as well as consistency and showing up. And I think one of the biggest things is it's simple, but it's the personal development. Every day I do that before I do anything, because if you don't have your mind right, it's so easy to let a no or let a negative response from someone or a coach who's kind of disappointing you in some way really get you down and make you just want to stop. So that's been a huge game changer. And that's, I think, why I went from being a hobby coach to a full-time coach, was actually changing my mindset around it. Hope that answers.
And having that morning routine. Yep.
Yeah, that's huge for me. The Miracle Morning is an amazing book. I highly recommend that one.
Here's the book drop. Okay, here we go. What about, so what advice do you have for a brand new coach who doesn't know where to start? What can they start doing today to achieve long-term success?
So for brand new coaches, I think it's really easy to be overwhelmed when you start out. There's so many terms and things to learn. And no matter what you're given from your upline, a lot of teams have set trainings. Like we have a training in our team that I think is great. But you know what? Even if I didn't give my team anything, there's a whole back office full of amazing training that Beachbody just gives us. So one, I'd say don't start to scapegoat. Don't start to blame your upline or your downline right away. Look and see what is available to you and plug into your coach's training. If they have a Coach Basics group or they have a training, plug into it and treat it like school or treat it like a business. Like if you don't go to that class, you're gonna get an F or you're going to get fired. Really treat it like you're clocking in and out. I think the biggest game changer for new coaches is really treating it like school, and also scheduling it. Because you're busy. Most new coaches have full-time jobs and have kids. So schedule it out. Put an hour a day, block it out every single week. And then my other tip is to make a list. And this is something I just recently put in my new coach training. I just redid it. And for some reason, I know Beachbody makes you do that. And I just totally have not been stressing that enough to my new coaches. So make your list. I just went to the Women in Network Marketing Conference a couple weeks ago, and they stress this so much. There is just brain dump every single person, everyone you've ever met. Go through your Facebook, go through your phone. There's so many people out there who need something like this, whether it's for the business or for the challenge groups and for the products, that you just really underestimate how many people you actually know. So make your list. That is like the first thing I would do.
Good stuff. Okay, what about the coach who is struggling or is thinking about giving up? What advice do you have for them?
So I tell my team this all the time. There were 3 times I vividly can remember that I dropped out of Emerald. So if you've done that, trust me, you can have success 3 times. And I remember being so frustrated, and I stopped every time. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give someone who's struggling is don't stop posting. And don't stop showing up, because it is so hard if you stop. It is like Pat Rillman is a really, really successful coach as well. I'm sure you're going to interview him. And I use this video in my team that he gave me. And he talks about going up the down. It's like going up a down escalator your first year in the business. And it really is. Because if you stop going up that escalator, you always go right back down. So much harder to get started. And I think that's why when people say they're taking a step back and they stop posting, they stop engaging with their challengers. I'm not saying you have to invite 10, 20 people a day, but don't stop showing up, at least on your Facebook, at least to your network, because it is so hard to start over. So even if you do the bare minimum, just keep going, because you will get through it. And another great name drop for a book is called The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. I love that book, and I just think he puts it into such good perspective how owning your own business is hard. And I think especially this business, it's the simple. The actual things we do are very simple, but it's really hard to show up every day. And it's during those toughest times that your breakthrough is going to happen. If you just stick through it and you keep going, you're going to have a breakthrough. So keep with it. Think about that up escalator and just at least show up on your social media. Even if you're not doing all your tasks as you should, just show up on social media so people don't forget about you.
Good, great. Love the visual. Love that visual. Okay, last question on advice. What is the best advice you have received regarding your personal business?
Ooh, this is a hard one. I was thinking about this before. I think it's like so simple, but one of the biggest things of late, because again, like it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're always going to have ups and downs. And I was struggling very recently with comparison, and thinking, hey, I've been in this for way longer than a lot of the top coaches. Like, why am I not where that should be, And it's really true that comparison is the thief of joy. Do not compare yourself to other coaches. I do think it's good to look at what other coaches are doing, and watch their YouTube videos and learn from them, of course. But I tried to be a lot of other coaches for, I think, the first year, and I think that's another reason nothing happened for me, because I was just trying to copy them verbatim, and that it was so inauthentic, and I felt weird, and I just was like, this isn't for me. Oh wait, it is for me. I just need to be me. So I think you need to be yourself, be authentic, be funny, be weird, be quirky, be if that's what you are. And I think a lot of people are scared to show that side of them. So be yourself and don't compare yourself to other coaches, because your life is very different than theirs, and you don't know what struggles they've gone through, or what ups and downs they've had to go through with this business. So that's definitely been huge. Because if I did go down that road and I did compare myself, and that's all I looked at top coaches' pages all the time, I would never have actually done my own work. So put your blinders on and focus on yourself and how many people you can help with this business. So.
Unbelievable advice. Guys, those watching right now, these past few minutes have been so chock full of great information. Go back, make sure you guys write everything, all the advice she has written down. We support it. Everything she has said is exactly what needs to happen. All right, on to the speed round. Megan, we're just looking for simple, short answers here. On average, how much time do you spend working your business?
Per day, about, I would say 5 hours, probably.
Okay. What's your average SC each month?
About 20 is average.
Okay.
Between 20 and 30.
Okay, between 20 and 30. What percentage of time do you focus on your own business versus your team?
80% my own, 20% my team.
Okay. And what leadership ladder rung are you at right now?
Organizational leader.
Very good. All right, guys, this is my favorite time. It is time for questions from a hat. Megan has no idea what question I'm going to ask. Here is your question, Megan. What book are you reading right now?
I am reading Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And I'm listening to Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. So very different books. One is like very kind of like the universe has your back, Gabrielle Bernstein, like focusing on letting things go and not obsessing over things. I'm type A, so I need to like let things go. But then Grant Cardone is very much like, you need to work harder, you need to work smarter, and he's just motivation overload. So they're very different, but I need both of them. So those are the two I'm reading right now.
Perfect. Love it. Okay, guys, that is all the questions for today. Megan, thank you so much for being vulnerable, being just willing to share the great advice. Guys, great content. This is What It Takes with Megan Yelaney Bayen. Thanks, Megan.